Hello
Hey,
and
guy.
welcome. This is On Screen, Off Screen. Thank you guys all so much for listening, watching, subscribing, liking, commenting, all of the things. Super appreciate you guys. I'm going to go over my first topic. So I've got one, you've got one, or I've got two, you've got one. She Loves Me. This is a musical starring Zachary Levi on Broadway.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
No.
Okay, so he is a sales clerk in a perfumery shampoo lotion store, and he um, is forced to work with this girl who he doesn't like because he said she couldn't work here, and then his boss came out and got involved and was like, "Yeah, she can work here." And they kind of have this like rivalry bitterness to him. Meanwhile, he is writing letters to this girl anonymously and who he doesn't know via I forgot what it's called, but you basically put an ad in a paper and you basically exchange um, letters with each other to see if you're compatible, and then if so, then you can finally meet up. It's like the old version of online dating. Um, so he's doing that. He's absolutely falling for this girl. Uh, there's some other characters played by some other pretty famous people. They're all like B actors, honestly. And you go forward, and of course, romantic comedy style, you find out that the girl he's having this rivalry with is the girl he's been writing, and they just don't know enough about each other to connect the dots. But in this version of this romantic comedy, he actually gets the opportunity to find out. So you have a part of the play where he knows both of the personalities and she doesn't.
Oh, interesting.
So like they make these plans to meet up at this restaurant, right? And he is having a bad day, so he almost decides not to go, and then finds out that it's her. So he hides the rose that he was gonna use to mark himself, and goes and messes with her for the fun of it. And it's so funny and it's so enjoyable. And you have this like obnoxious restaurant manager who's like, "We're trying to preserve the romantic atmosphere." And he says romantic atmosphere so many times you want to punch him in the face and say, "Stop saying that word, you obnoxious little cop." Um, it's a rom com. It's really basic. Yes, you know exactly what's going to happen. But the interactions between all of the characters are so awesome. There's a sub character um, who is the ditzy hot girl who keeps falling for the douchey guy, right? And there's this entire song about how ditzy and stupid she is and about how funny it is that she met somebody in the library after that relationship breaks up. So it's towards the end of the play. But you just like it's a great song. You just go, "This is great. I'm having such a good time with this musical and this play." Um, it's absolutely amazing. I do want to say, like, coming out of this, I wanted to talk about this because if you haven't seen it, I recommend watching this to any musical fans, to any romantic comedy fans, to any romance fans, to any
Mhm.
Hallmark movie fans. This is all going to hit the spot for you. It's great. But the other reason is we have had conversations in the past about Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
And this is the point that I want to make. I think there's a difference between having been on Broadway and being a Broadway talent.
Okay.
Right? Hugh Jackman has technically been on Broadway, but I don't consider him a Broadway caliber talent. The same way Zachary Levi is not a Broadway caliber talent, even though he does a great job in this role.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see where
So,
you're
and then
coming from. I man, Hugh Jackman is. I can see the point that you were making. I don't know if I completely agree, but I can see the point where you were making.
I mean, it's just a whole nother level, right? Like actors who have been on Broadway and have played a major role in multiple Broadway productions. What's the guy's name in the New York one? What is that called? Newsies. Jeremy Jordan, right? There's a whole nother level of talent when you're talking about like Jeremy Jordan, Bernadette Peters, and some of these other like massive Broadway people. And you
Yeah.
talk about like Hugh Jackman, who did one thing on stage one time. Yeah, he had the main role, or at least I think he was the main role in Oklahoma. I haven't seen it. I have no idea. He's the title. His face is on the front, but there's a very big difference between playing a role on one thing and multiple time and time again. Like you're just in a whole nother level of musical ability.
I see the point that you're making, and I do agree to some extent. I still think Hugh Jackman is a Broadway level talent. He did The Boy from Oz, he did Oklahoma, he did Carousel, he did The Music Man. Like he's done quite a few different things, and he's very, very talented. But that doesn't mean he is the best in Broadway. Maybe not even the upper echelon, but I do think he is a Broadway level talent. I don't think he just got in because of his good looks or whatever. I do think he is that level of a talent, but no, he is not one of these mega stars of a Broadway skill set. Does that make sense?
I
Like
get what you're saying.
like Neil
I just
Patrick
personally disagree with you.
Neil Patrick Harris, I do think is actually upper echelon Broadway level good Broadway, along with being in these movies. Hugh Jackman, I can make an argument on how good he actually is, but I do think he's in the Broadway level talent of good.
I think Hugh Jackman is just good enough that his name puts him over the edge. I don't think he is actually good enough.
But he wasn't that name when he first started, and he still was
But how
capable.
many of those roles did he get because of his name?
I think he got Music Man because of his name for sure. Oklahoma, I don't think he got because of that. Carousel would have been before he was famous, so he didn't get it because of that. And A Boy from Oz is where he started, and he wasn't a big thing then. Carousel, he might have gotten because of his name. Oklahoma and A Boy from Oz, he didn't.
Well, I've never heard of Boy from Oz, so and didn't even see it on like Broadway HD thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and just discredit that one as probably not being a very good musical to begin with. But like, what about non Broadway stuff?
What do you mean?
Do you
Like
think he got Les Mis because of his name or because he was actually the best
he,
person?
he got that one because of his name. Absolutely, without doubt.
Greatest Showman.
Um, he got that one because it kind of like Ryan Reynolds got Deadpool because he pushed it. He got that one because he pushed it, and he made that
Because of
happen.
his name.
That is because of his name. There are some aspects to that. If he didn't have the talent to be able to do it along with his name, he wouldn't have got it either. If that makes sense, I don't think.
Right, like I said, I believe Hugh Jackman fits in good enough. Not not great. I would not be like, look at this guy. He's got Broadway level talent. No, he is good enough to be passable.
I think he's better than that. I think Greatest Showman alone would show that he is better than that because I think he puts up Broadway level performance in that movie.
I think if you're talking about Broadway performance, absolutely not. But I would say absolutely not to any movie because you get retakes, you get retalents, and you get auto tune. It's
It's a
not
little bit.
being actually on stage,
It's a
right?
different
It's very
form.
different,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Whereas, like I watched the stage version, Zachary Levi, he gave that performance uncut, right? Like that is much more impressive to me than any musical movie because you get cuts, you get retakes, and you get auto tune,
It
right?
is a lot hard. It's a lot harder to do it on stage, for sure, without a doubt.
And when you're
Um,
talking about Greatest Showman particularly, he gets auto tune. So of course his voice sounds better, right? Like
it makes
I
it
have seen
easier.
clips of him performing those songs not auto tune, and it is not as impressive. Not even
It's
close.
just not as
Now,
good.
caveat to that, it was usually unprompted, so he probably wouldn't have had the time to warm up either, so fair game there, right? But I don't put Hugh Jackman on this Broadway pedestal, even though he has played a
In Broadway.
major role on one play in Broadway.
Oh, Music Man is definitely a major role for sure, without a doubt. Like Carousel is not as big. Music Man is a big musical.
It may be, but his version of it is not the biggest version of it.
That's true. That's true.
So if you're thinking of like Carousel the musical, you're not going to be thinking of his performance.
Music Man, I think it would depend on what you saw first. To be completely honest, people, have you seen the Music Man the movies?
Nope, never
People
even heard of it.
idolize the first movie. I don't think the first movie is actually really good. There was a TV version that was done by Matthew Broderick, the guy who does what is the show called? Um, oh man, I love this movie. What is it called? One second.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
Yeah, that dude.
James, Pancake,
That dude.
Glory,
All that kind of
Godzilla,
stuff. He's in a ton of stuff.
Inspector Gadget, No Hard Feelings.
Yeah, huge actor, huge actor, great actor. Um, he does a Music Man version that is my favorite. He plays it in a way that I think is much better than the original. But if I
Are we
hadn't
talking
seen,
about like stage production though?
so these
'Cause
ones
you
are
said
movies.
movie and TV show.
This is two movies that I'm comparing because that's just what I've seen, and I think that's probably what most people have seen. But if your first experience was the Hugh Jackman version, that might just be your favorite. For me, the Matthew Broderick version is my favorite, and I'd be surprised if anything passed it up. But that's also because I saw it first.
So my point still stands though. The Hugh Jackman version is not what stands out to you,
But it could be if it was the first thing that I saw.
but it wasn't, and
But
probably wouldn't still be.
I don't. That's for me, man. It
Okay,
might be for someone else's.
you've seen uh Wicked
Yeah,
stage production and movie version.
yeah.
Is there anything from the movie version that you would prefer over the stage version that you saw?
Um, I like the Fiero stuff that they changed with the story. I think that's a little bit
Hey,
better.
done. Point has been proven.
What do you mean?
It wasn't your first. You saw the play first, yet you're choosing to prefer the movie.
I'm preferring that aspect of the movie. The performances of the play I like better. I'm trying to think if there's anyone that's not the case for. I think Fiero is very good in the movie. He's the one case where maybe I like him better. But other than that, I like the stage version better.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably true overall, right? But we're
Yeah.
talking about individual actors, individual performances. So you can say, I like Robin Williams or I like Will Smith in the live action version of Aladdin, which is insane. But you can isolate that over the entire movie. And I could say, I don't like his performance, even if I did like the movie, which I don't like the movie. But like, I could say that,
Yeah.
right? So while we're talking about this individual actor, Hugh Jackman, right? Honestly, honestly, watch She Loves Me. Sid might enjoy it too. It's definitely a just feel good
She would
romantic
like it.
comedy thing. And truly, truly tell me, is Hugh Jackman so much better than Zachary Levi?
Okay, I will. And obviously, Zach Levi can sing. He plays Tangled guy
Flynn
and does a really
Rider.
good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Like really good job.
But that
Honestly.
again, very different thing between movies and stage because auto tune retakes,
It's a
right?
very different thing.
It for a movie, you're in a studio where everything is optimized for yourself. You're in a play, you're on stage, you're recording it live. There is no hiding things or taking things away. So, like, yes, Zachary Levi can sing a little bit, but even though I knew him as Flynn Rider, I didn't like associate that with being able to do this level of talent on stage.
That's
I
fair.
was very pleasantly surprised, but I still wouldn't put Zachary Levi on that level of talent either. And I think Zachary Levi does a better job than Hugh Jackman.
In the okay, okay. I will do. I'll
Okay.
watch it and we'll see.
So
Because I'm curious. I'm curious.
I hope you like it. I hope you like it. It's
I
very
think
good.
all right, let's go to my first one. Yeah, apple cider vinegar. I did end up watching this show. Um, and I had a good time and I actually disagreed with the ending. The last episode didn't have very much catty stuff like at all. I mean,
Well,
the other girl's basically dead.
premise with Caddy.
Oh,
And what is the other girl doing and why?
okay, okay. I mean, she's like obsessed with Mila, which I find as an interesting choice because Mila is a fake person. Like
Sort
she
of.
she 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 doesn't exist.
Sort of.
Um, where Belle is real, and they did that mostly for the drama. But if they're going to have her go kind of into a psychosis where she's making this fake relationship with the person that she looks up to, it's interesting that she would make that a fake person. That would be the choice that you make with the show. I don't
There
know.
is a real person that she was looking up to who did have that.
There was multiple different real persons, but it wasn't like one specific individual from what I read earlier today.
Yeah, but like if you parcel up the show to like when Belle was becoming pre famous, there was Mila in the show who represented one person.
Hmm.
And then there was Mila growing into the big person that she was, and that was a different version. Or Belle was becoming famous. There was a different person that Mila played the role of. And then there's the ending part where she was obsessed with somebody. And that was a different person, but was also represented by Mila.
Okay. Okay. So they just represent three individual people. The article
Mhm.
I was looking at was like there was this person, this person, this person, this person, and didn't
There
really
was a handful of
focus.
others, but yes, there was like
Okay.
three big people in her life that she kind of idolized the three of them.
Interesting. I thought this was an interesting show, to be completely honest. It is extremely damning of the whole green movement. And I was surprised at how damning Netflix was willing to go because this was like, this shit does not work. Go get some medicine. What are you guys doing? You're all morons if you're sitting there juicing and meditating. And that's what I took from the show, which I don't even believe. I believe some of this stuff actually works, but not. Uh, I think you can do it plus medicine and put it together, and that's a healthy balance. This show seemed to be like, all that health shit is complete waste of time. Don't do it. I don't know if they meant to perceive that message, but that's actually what I took from it. I both of these people suck. Mila sucks. Belle sucks. In the show, I was like, there was an interesting episode. An episode before you realize that Belle didn't give any of the money to that kid with cancer who was about to die, the $60,000, which is scummy. But the episode before that, I'm like, Mila literally has cancer growing on her arm, and she's trying to do the same thing to her dying mother, and her mom is going to die. Like, she's going to die. And I was like, Belle sucks. She's a sucky person. She's a terrible person. I wouldn't want to be around her at all. And she's lying and she sucks, but at least she's helping this kid out. She's doing something good. Figured out she wasn't even doing that, but I was like, she's doing something good. I don't think it evens it out, but it's something. Mila hasn't done anything good. She's just killing her mom. She sucks. And I in that I told Sid, I looked over and I said, how is the dad going to deal with this? Knowing that his daughter is absolutely lying to him and killing his wife. How do you forgive that? How do you deal with that? And I genuinely wish Mila was real because I would love to research and hear from her father how you would, in a situation like that, forgive your daughter for basically killing your wife. How do you do that? In the show, I was like, Mila sucks. Mila should die. I hope cancer kills her. She's a horrible human being. And I was like, Belle is a terrible human being who's at least doing something good. Um, and in the end of the show, she didn't pay for this kid's cancer. The kid probably dies. I don't really know. I didn't look into that. And they both just suck. They both are just sucky human beings.
I
I
agree.
want to look a little bit more into it. I researched roughly because I'm surprised with the way that they portray it that the Clyde would stay with Belle because she
She
sucks.
stayed
And she's like,
he
obviously
stayed
not.
with Belle until she went off to do her guru thing
Okay.
beyond the show, and then was spotted, like, 3 months ago with some new girl, and
Okay.
was like, "No comments, I don't wanna talk about it." So,
Good. I'm glad he got out of that. And if she really did like hold the kid as a hostage situation, blackmail, that's despicable. That's disgusting. But I don't know if that's actually real. But that's pretty terrible. Um, she's. I want to understand how he got so sucked into that, how he got so influenced, why he didn't leave, why he didn't do something sooner. Because in the show, she is just terrible for years, years and
mhm,
years and years. Terrible. Um,
mhm.
really, a very interesting show that I'm actually glad that I watched. And the cattiness didn't bug me as much as it bugged you.
It bugged me because it was a different show, right? Like, I talked about how at the beginning, it was these ethical dilemmas mixed with this messaging about healthcare, and you called it the green movement. I've never really heard it called that, but we'll go with that, the green movement. And then devolved into this personal cattiness, right? So at the beginning, it was just a much bigger show and ended on this small petty thing. That's what I didn't like about it.
Yeah, I didn't like aspects of it. I mostly didn't like the Mila side of it, which makes more sense when you know she's not a real person. Because Belle, with her character, she is idolizing Mila and she's creating this false image of a person that she's trying to become and being loved by people who don't really give a shit about her. Like she just has a lot of mental problems there. Mila, I couldn't understand why she would care about Belle. Besides, I guess her friend is hanging out with her. But other than that, you're dying of
She
cancer, you got
doesn't
other
care
things
about
going on.
Belle.
Why do you care? But
That's the point of the show.
there's parts of it where she seems like she does care.
Yeah,
And
at the
she's so
end when she gets
mad
all
at Belle
petty and
and
catty.
all of these different lies, and she's researching it and all of these different things. Where the character that we've come to know, I don't think would care. I don't think she'd do the research. I don't think she'd care.
Well, she's grieving and she's mad and she's like,
She is sad
I
that she's
believe it
dying.
100%.
Yeah,
No, like she lost her mom.
she lost her mom and she's dying. Both things are happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Belle came and threw herself into the middle of it for publicity.
yeah.
Right? I
That is true.
100% believe that that Mila character would
Would get
get the stick of
vengeful
it. And
and do that.
yeah,
Okay.
a lot of women are very petty, evil, evil humans.
I was watching this, and the entire time I was thinking, Belle is what incel type guys think most women are, and women who don't understand how some guys see bad women. Watch this show and watch Belle because that is what a lot of men think of women. Is Belle like Belle is the description
Belle
of those
and
women.
Mila, both of them.
Both of them. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Like if you want to understand it, watch this show. That's it. Right there. It's the
cool.
best description of it I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. But that you we agree though, right? Like that's what made the ending petty and small is because it became so personal. and so focused on that.
But like the last episode wasn't that. The last episode, Mila is just dead. Like
Yeah,
she's
but
gone.
her friend
Starts the episode dead.
is exacting her vengeance because she asked her to.
That's the episode beforehand, but yeah, yeah, she starts doing that. Last
No,
episode,
that's all the way to the end.
Belle basically just blows up, and um, also this is kind of a side topic, but I've never gotten mad at a show for somebody being so incompetent and lying. And Belle, I was like, "What are you doing?" There. I looked it up online. I looked it up online. It took me 2 seconds. Can cancer ever go away on its own? The answer is yes. It's just super rare. Guess what? You could be one of those rare situations. If you're going to go this deep, literally pay a doctor $100,000, $50,000, whatever you want to do. Literally, the money that you stole from that kid, just give it to a doctor to give you fake results that said you had cancer and it went away. Like, if you're going to go with a lie, go with a lie. And then at the end, where she says, "Oh no, I have cancer in my spleen and in my blood and in my blah, 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 blah." What are you doing, you moron? That is obviously going to be caught, and everyone knows this is a lie. This is an absolute known lie. If you're going to lie, you could do it better. Like, it wouldn't even be that hard to do it better. I was frustrated how sucky she was at it.
I wasn't. That's 100% believable.
Oh, I thought,
Like, that's what really happened,
I
and
know
that's
it's
what
what really
happens when
happened.
you call people out on their lies and they choose to double down.
I know, but usually you can double down and come up with some kind, like, it just wouldn't have been that hard to come up with something, some kind of fake evidence, some even print it off and have it be completely fake, but like try something. Don't just say, "Oh, the
That's not
cancer is
what
coming back."
compulsive liars do.
uh, there's a lot of compulsive liars who will double down and they will add evidence to their lie to make it so one, they believe it more, and two, other people will believe it more. That isn't an uncommon thing.
Right, but more often than not, especially when they get to this level where they're conning the world, is when they double down, they go back to what worked. Hey, what worked before was telling people I had brain cancer, but now I have spleen cancer. Let's move the attention over to that, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's 100% what people will do is like very successful liars that get to this level. They'll tell a lie, right? They'll build lies based on that lie. And then when they get called out, very often they will tell a separate lie to try and distract from original lie by pointing over here. In
Yeah,
this
I
case, I have
agree.
spleen blood cancer, right?
They
Like, it's not so unbelievably incompetent. You don't believe that that's a real person and don't believe, like,
they absolutely do that, and they do the thing which I think the show does pretty well, where Belle just screams and starts crying and being like, "How can you treat me so badly?" Blah 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 blah. But I also think those compulsive liars, when they're not in those stuck moments, will try to make the lie feel more concrete. And she doesn't do the thing to make it more concrete, which it's just so easy. Just do it. And I felt dumb for trying to be like, I wish you would have lied better. But she just sucked at it. Like, it was bad. It was not good lying. And it would have been very easy to just do a couple things. And she might have not even been caught. Literally, if she would have been like, my can the entire time I was screaming at the screen, why would you not say your cancer is in remission? Why would you say you still have brain cancer? That is stupid. Just say you're in remission. I ate this food. It made me so healthy, and my cancer is gone. Well, yay. And then there's no proof that you don't have cancer anymore. It went away. Yay. It would have made her lies so much easier, but she still says, I still have brain cancer. Stupid.
okay. So my comments to that is remember the time frame,
Yeah.
right? You're talking about it as if we talk about cancer today. The actual events happened in like 2008.
It was like 2012.
She first became famous in 2008. She got called out in 2011.
Was it that early? I thought it was like
Yeah,
2014 when she got called out.
right. But like her cancer like cancer back then was much more of a taboo subject. So we throw around terms like, "Oh, cancer's in remission" a lot more casually than people did back then.
Okay, I don't know that. I didn't really
Go
talk about
back to
it then.
yourself
I
in
don't know.
2008, 2009, 2010. Like, yeah, you heard of people getting cancer. It's not like cancer was never a thing, but it was a lot bigger of a deal and it was a lot more serious and it was a lot less casual than it is today. I think we can both agree on that.
There's probably some truth to that. I honestly don't know.
Mm. That's my experience. It's like, yeah, I heard people say that, like, oh, my grandpa got cancer, but like, we talk about cancer all the time now, and it's gotten to be a much bigger thing. But it's also like we know so much more about cancer than we did 10 years ago, 12 years
That's
ago,
true.
15
You
years
do
ago,
know a lot more.
right? So, cancer being in remission, cancer, like the fact that you were just like, yeah, I Googled it, right? Like, do you think that that was available information on Google?
It would have been required a lot more work than it did for me right now. I still think you could have
I
found
think
it, but it would have
you
required more
could
work.
have, but from a reliable source. Would
Like
she care as a character? No, not really, but, like, it's a different time, you know?
she is somebody that influences people and takes the time, which I also found a little inconsistent, but that's fair. She's a narcissist. Um, but she takes the time to try to analyze the names of these different cancers and different things. It seems like you would go and you would research the topic. She seems like someone who would have researched the topic to be able to come up with some of these lies and lie more effectively.
Except it shows in the show she doesn't.
That she
She
does,
hears these phrases and things from other
but that's it.
people
She
and
doesn't dig into it. That's true. That's true.
right? It's very well established from her childhood heart attack to the seizure that she has. She straight up steals it from a kid having a seizure.
Yeah,
She's like, "That's what it looks like. That's what I'm gonna do."
that's what I'm going to do instead of actually looking into it and trying to fool the system better.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm
So,
curious from the anyone that's watching, just if you think cancer is approached that differently from 2010-ish, 12-ish, right in that area. Um, maybe it is, maybe it's not. I honestly don't know. I don't know.
it absolutely is. We talk about it a lot more. The outcome of it is a lot more positive than it was 10 years ago, even 5 years ago.
That's
Like, cancer is
true,
such a heavily researched and pushed thing
but it has been for a
that we
really,
are
really
making
long
strides.
time.
My
Really
dad
long
has
time.
cancer right now.
Yeah,
If he was diagnosed 2 years earlier in the same stage it is now, he
yeah.
would not be alive.
Already?
Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
like, in 2018 timeframe, his or 2020 timeframe, like, his outlook was, like, 2 years,
Wow.
right? Like, cancer is progressing. We don't see it progressing because, like, we don't have cancer for one thing. At least
But it
hope
is.
we don't. But, like, it is. It's such a heavily researched thing. It's so heavily pushed. There's so many experimental treatments going on all over the world all of the time.
Like, I I agree that our research has gone forward a lot, but like Breast Cancer Awareness Month started in 1985. I, do we really talk
Yeah,
about it that much more?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Aside from breast cancer, because that one has been a big one for a very long time. I fully admit it. Can you name what any of the other cancer colors are?
prostate cancer is probably blue, but I honestly don't know that. I don't
Right?
know.
You're
That's fair.
picking out the like big advertised one, right? Like we can
Yeah,
remember as kids seeing commercials, go get your mammogram, fight breast cancer.
yeah.
Do you okay, prostate is probably the next most advertised
It's
one.
this.
But
And then you have like lung cancer, but that's a lot because of the smoking and the
right, but
lawsuits
those
that
are
were involved in
anti-smoking
2000.
commercials and anti-smoking.
Yeah, there aren't anti
Those are
lung
not like
cancer.
cancer things. They're always like,
Well,
by the way, smoking causes cancer. You know,
yeah, and there's a couple
the
ads that
way,
are more cancer driven, but they're a couple ads. They're not whole campaigns like breast cancer awareness is.
yeah. So like, yeah, we can look at breast cancer and be like, yeah, that was in the forefront of everybody's mind in 2008. But other than that, it was just pretty much word of mouth between communities of people like, oh yeah, my uncle got cancer and whatever. It was not like this big thing. Today, cancer is huge. It is massive, right? It's so big now that there's the conspiracy theory that, you know, they could cure cancer but choose not to because of how much money cancer makes, right? I don't personally subscribe to that because I think curing cancer would be worth way more than what they make keeping cancer, but right, like that's the world that we live in. So information not nearly as available back then. That's for one thing. You know, use of internet and stuff like yeah, she's on Instagram and building her brand kind of focus, but she's not necessarily this techie person who's going to dig into a lot of things like yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Those are some good points, man. Those are some good points.
And like I could have just been protected. I could have just grown up in this little shell where we didn't talk about cancer and there were no cancer ads or anything, but I just that wasn't my experience at all. It's
But
kind of
we're also talking about like a teenage boy versus more of an adult. And when I was a teenager, unless someone I knew had cancer, I would not have given a crap. Like, genuinely would not have cared. Even Breast Cancer Awareness Month, like, this is probably a bad thing, but I didn't care at all. I saw a little pin and I was like, okay, whatever. I did not care. Where I'm not a teenager anymore and I have a little bit more of a nuanced mind and a little bit more compassionate than I was before. And so cancer is going to have more of an impact and I'm going to think about it in different ways.
yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Okay. Even with all of those negatives that I brought up, I honestly did have an enjoy. I did enjoy this show. I found it very enjoyable, actually. Um, and hopefully, Belle is alone and she rots in hell because she's kind of a terrible person. At least that's what I got from the show. And maybe she's not that bad in real life. I actually don't know,
It's pretty accurate to who she is.
but she seems pretty terrible, like the ultimate Karen.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. I would give the show like a solid 7.3, 7.4. I enjoyed it.
Good. That's about what I wrote it.
Yeah,
Rated
right
it.
around there. Good show. All right. What is your next topic, Ben?
My next topic is one that you should have watched. Yeah.
I'm really sorry. Guys, for everybody, this was going to be one of our shared topics, and I totally forgot. I dropped the ball on this. Didn't remember it at all. I've been recommended this show many, many different times, and I absolutely suck for not watching it. Absolutely, 100%. My bad.
Yeah. So this show is called From. Uh
Mhm.
it's absolutely amazing. This show is so good. This might be one of the best, if not my personal favorite horror shows. Um I had to stop myself from watching it going on to season 2 because I didn't want to confuse what happens between season 1 and season 2. Uh I don't think it's going to deliver in the long run with all of its stuff that it's building up and everything that it might do. But honestly, I'm not sure if this is
Yeah,
as good. Like this could be better than Haunting of Hill House, honestly.
that's a big deal, guys. Like, Josh loves something on the house. That's awesome, man. I am really sorry I didn't watch it. Um, I will watch it this week. I suck. I am sorry. I genuinely feel bad. I so I went and looked at the notes. literally right earlier today before we were doing the show, and I was like, oh no. And it was 11 o'clock, and I was like, this show is way more than 4 hours. There's no way I can watch this show. So I watched episode one. That's all I've seen. But episode one was good. Good episode.
It
Great.
was so
Great. Like
good.
the episode
The
one was really
effects
good.
with the little girl and the witch and the grandma and the
Yep.
it could be our
I agree.
little secret thing. Like so, so good. And the effects. And this is just a show, and this looks better than so many movies. I think we can both agree that this looks better than Nosferatu, even. It's so, so, so good.
Oh, so what would you rate this first season
Nine
for
out
you?
of
This
10.
is like a glowing review.
9.5 out of 10.
Not that's good. Wow. That's good. That's really
It's
good.
so freaking good. Like I can
I'm sorry, man. Can't do it. No, they had this season three that came out last year. Looks like they have a whole gap until 2026 for the next season. I wonder if it's like a end of a show or I don't know. Maybe this is an end of an arc with
well, that just sucks.
season
I
three. I
like
don't
to
know.
binge watch. I really, really like to binge watch. I wish I could just keep watching and watching. I really hope that it's not a big cliffhanger like it is at the end of season one, because that would really suck. I just have to sit and wait over a
Here
year to get some more answers.
for the next season. Oh, I hope that it keeps being good. I hope season two delivers and it's not like a big drop
Only
off.
one way to find out is by watching it.
Okay. I will not forget and I will watch it this week. We can talk about it. All right. With that glowing review, I'm gonna leave a glowing review also. Um it's impossible to it's very hard to rate Split Fiction without talking about It Takes Two. And I am going to say Split Fiction is an absolute must play. 100%. It is a must play game. It's great. It's fantastic. I like It Takes Two better. But the reason I like It Takes Two better is because I didn't have the issues you had with the game. I enjoyed the whole parents coming back together aspect. I really liked the book. I know the book kind of bugged you. So for me, It Takes Two is this magical ride that I always recommend as being like watching a Pixar movie. When you get into Incredibles, Incredibles just like sucks you in, or Ratatouille, it just sucks you in. For me, It Takes Two was like that. It's fine. It wasn't that way for you. It was for me. And everything felt very full. Like when I go into a new area, there's a game over here. There's a little game over here. There's some puzzle that I found over here. And I wanted to explore every inch of every map. Split Fiction doesn't have that aspect. You are much more on a straight journey that you're just going through, and the journey is fantastic, but it is just a straight journey that pulls you through. And every once in a while, you get a little side quest. Side quest also is fantastic, but it doesn't feel like as much of a full universe that you're exploring and becoming a part of. That doesn't change the fact that the journey that you're on is fantastic. It's very, very well done. Some of these side stories are just great. There's one where you, as the main characters, are basically the basic premise of Split Fiction, for people who don't know, is you have two authors that get sucked into each other's stories. And you have a machine that is basically acting as AI, and it's sucking people's ideas from them so that this company can own creativity. That's the basic premise. I don't find that premise as effective as It Takes Two, but still effective. It still works. So you go into these two different universes, and when you're in the fantasy universe, you'll have little side stories that are more sci-fi. And when you're in the sci-fi world, you have more side stories that are fantasy. And some of the side stories are extremely good. There's one where a sun is going supernova, and you have to cause a black hole in the middle of the sun to keep the system from exploding. And it's very cool. It's just a cool side story. It's very fun. I love the puzzle. There's one where you are climbing where ogres are taking over the city, and you have to escape through the tower to get out of the city in time while the ogres are chasing you. It's absolutely awesome. Very, very cool. Um, there's one where you are going through one of the characters' stories, and she wrote this when she was like 5, and you are uh, you're a tooth, and you're going to the dentist, and the dentist is horrifying, and it's really, really well done. The main stories for each of the characters are very smart. The gameplay in a large section of this game is better than the first one. It's more game-ish, which was hard for my wife. The first one felt a lot more simple, and it for her skill level it was a little bit easier. There were times in this game where she felt a little bit more like it was a little too hard for her, but I liked the gameplay aspects. I liked the homages to games of the past. They did a very good job with that. There's times where you're a side scroller and you're shooting like you do with a side scroller. There's times where you're up top like you do in Diablo. It's very, very cool. They honor a lot of aspects of gaming. I don't think it flows quite as well, but when it hits so well. Like unbelievably well. There are gameplay aspects of this game that will be stuck in my mind forever. There's one part where you play as I'm not going to give a lot of spoilers. I want you to just enjoy this. But there's a pinball part where you play as the pinball, and it is freaking amazing, and you are going to love it. Like absolutely love it. When I played this, I turned to Sydney and I was like, Josh will love this section. It is super, super cool. The very end of this game, if the rest of the game was completely meh, if the rest of the game was nothing to write home about, I would recommend people play this game for the end section of this game, for the final boss. It is that freaking cool. The entire time I was like, how did they pull this off? How did they think of this? How did they do it? I've wanted this since I was like a child. It is just awesome. Straight up super cool. And I am so unbelievably excited for you to play it, especially this end section, because I thought it was just so damn cool. Um, I was thinking of other like final bosses that are some of my favorites. The final of a game that's my favorite is Outer Wilds, and I don't think anything will ever top it. But this is like up there. It's that good. I love the ending of this game. I love it so much. And it's going to be cool when you play it. Sweet. You will probably beat it. It took us 17 hours, and that's Sydney honestly struggled a little bit. Um, I think for you guys, it might be like 14. But dude, there are some segments of this game you're just gonna love. It's they're really good. Like really, really, really good. I think so too. It's really good. It's really good. And I love the fact that they're keeping this kind of gaming alive. Like I actually want to celebrate just the fact that Hazelight is doing that. That you have these games that require two people. It's couch co-op. They don't make a lot of games like that anymore. Like Halo Infinite, I don't even think ever got that, which sucks. Um, and it's just a cool thing. Like it's something that should be stay alive because it's fun to just sit on the couch with somebody, especially somebody like my wife who really she didn't grow up playing video games, and she can play it with me, and we can both have fun. Like that's a cool thing. And regardless of the small negatives I have for this game, um, it's just fantastic. It's so creative. It's so good. People should buy this game. You should play this game. It's just good. Mm, too. Yes, it will. This is gonna be way better than what you've been playing. Um, alright. What? Oh, no, it is. I'm positive that this will be better than what you're playing. This is just a great game. I don't Yeah, this is better. This is better. This is better. I don't care. This is better. This is like an all-time great game. This is better. That's very true. That is very true. I don't know, man. If you have one of the best hours of your life and you just have kind of a game that you play, which one really is a better cost per dollar? I will never forget ever. I will never forget the end of Swift Fiction ever. In my whole life. I will never forget it. That's how cool I thought it was. That's a better use of my dollar. All right. With that, let's go to our last topic,
Okay,
Josh.
so this is a video I found on YouTube. I sent it over to Conlon because it is an alien universe fan made film called No Man's Land. It's aliens in World War One in the trenches. Uh, Go ahead, Conlon. Tell us your thoughts.
I actually thought it was awesome. I genuinely really liked this and was very impressed. And I am giving it some probably being a little bit easier on it because it is a fan made thing. I do the same thing with Star Wars films. I'm a little bit easier on them. But considering this was a fan made movie, like it's remarkable. They did such a good job. I love I pretty much just love it. Like it was just really, really well done in almost every aspect. The actors do a good job. I liked the set designs. I liked the camera work. I liked it was just good. It's just good, and I would recommend it.
I will fight you on this. Like I will die on this hill. Uh, I do agree. Actors did a great job. Directors did a pretty good job. The set was pretty good. Everything was pretty good, but that camera work was not good. Okay, you hate the Bourne movies
Great job.
because of the bad camera work, but I will die on this hill that that camera work was shaky.
Yeah, I agree. It's fan made. Like there are some fan made aspects to it. Okay, really? Okay, okay. I don't put it as good as either of the two, but that's pretty crazy. So I am actually I have this on my other screen and I was just looking through it and it's not that shaky, man. It really isn't. Like there's a part where they are running down the trench and that part they did it is shaky. That part is shaky. But the rest of it really is not that bad. For real. It's pretty clear like it's just okay, the rest of it I think actually looks good, for real. I really do think it looks good. The running down the trench is shaky. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. It is shaky. But even then, it's not like terrible. It's not Born. Like it doesn't shake as much as Born. Yeah, it's terrible. Like that's terrible. Weird choices. I just yeah, I didn't have that problem. I do think it's weird that I didn't notice the shaky as much with the drenches because it's pretty shaky. It's not like Born, I'll admit, the camera looks like it's shaking like this. With the trenches, it looks like the camera is going like this, which is rough. Oh, I'm saying that that is probably worse with the trench scenes, but with Born, it's like the entire thing is like, "Ah, ah, ah, ah." It's like you're on a bouncy ride. It's terrible. I did misspeak on that part because the trenches are they're rough. They're rough. I'll admit it. I'll admit it. I'll admit it. I'll admit it. But there's also like that scene where the alien is like on the sand and there's the sunset behind it. And it's just so freaking cool. It's just so well done. So good. Yeah, and you have the red flare, and they're in the not what are they called? Where little areas where the people live, basement areas. And you can see like the red light going through, and you have the alien that's in there. It's really good. I really like it. I did. I was grateful that you sent this to me. I was surprised. It was one of the better, if not best, fan made films that I've ever seen. What there's that's where I would have to debate. There are a lot of really good fan made Star Wars, and there are probably some that are better than this, but this is up there, man. For me, this was up there, like for real. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I thought this was solid A. This was solid A to me. And there are some S tier Star Wars. You were correct. And then there's the um, Uncharted fan made mill of film that is phenomenal. And then my favorite one actually is Grayson. It's Nightwing. That fan made show is my favorite fan made show of all time. But this is up there. That's what I'm saying. This is up there. Well, and the Darth Maul Apprentice is really good. That's hard to beat. It's really good. I mean, that's it is. The Darth Maul Apprentice is like actual movie level good. Like it's really good. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of good fan made stuff out there. A lot of people have done really well. Don't like the Alien movies, you might still like this. Honestly, it's a little. It's not exactly the same as the Alien. It is an Alien thing. Like if you're put off by just the Alien, hopefully you guys will watch it. It's worth watching. I think it's worth watching. And I like supporting fan made stuff that's well done because it's hard to make this high quality of anything, especially when you don't have the budget. Just to make something like that is impressive and deserves to be recognized. That would be sweet. That would be sweet. I mean, the Prey movie with Predator, it kind of started off as being some kind of small idea like this, and then they made a full movie, and it's great. Well, I think that that is our episode. We appreciate you guys watching as always. Thanks for sticking with us this week. If there's anything that we can do to be better, any comments you want us to respond to, anything at all, we just appreciate you guys and we'll do anything for you. See ya.